Maybe I'll say less. Maybe not. Maybe you're just gonna have to deal with it. All right. Magic the Gathering altars. Something I used to do from time to time, and I felt like doing again. You know, for fun. Show a bit of my background. So anyway, I used to work at a card shop, as one does, and I remember overhearing somebody talking about how people were painting on cards, and they were still being used. You could still play with them, you still shuffle them. And I thought, bullshit. So I looked into it, and it seemed legit, and I was curious. I would always, I'd be the one to tinker with stuff, to paint things, paint models, get into a hobby. So I got a set of super cheap paints. They were like $1 a tube. And I just started painting. At first, I followed tutorials, and I did what's called extended art, where you take the original artwork and expand on it. Take it to the edge of the card. Most people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So I would go to the forums and see what other people were posting and post my own. And it seemed like I could, I was producing fairly good work, so to speak. So I wanted to get noticed and maybe make some money. So lo and behold, on eBay, people were making some serious money on these. So I thought, why not? It was fun. I was pretty addicted to it at this point. So every day it was just shuffling through all these cards, trying to come up with new ideas. Just over and over. Just pick a card, come up with an idea, paint it. Pick a card, come up with an idea, paint it. And I figured eventually I'd come up with a good idea that people would respond to. Eventually I did. It was what I called the blueprint altar. Anybody in this super niche genre probably knows what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I started the blueprints, and they caught on like crazy. Everybody loved them. They sold like hotcakes on eBay. I didn't mass produce them. I thought it would cheapen them. Like if I did one card, let's say, I didn't want to make like 50 of that one card in the same style. That's pretty lame, and it kind of defeats the purpose, in my opinion, of having original artwork. I was then talked to about a company called Star City Games, and they would host events, and they would have altarists set up booths at their shows. Or tournaments, I guess, really. It was Magic tournaments that people would go to. So I said, yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to travel or anything. I can just sell them on eBay and just have fun. But there was, in fact, a show coming up. At the time, I lived in Indianapolis. So I said, oh, why the hell not? I'll go check it out. If I embarrass myself, so be it. So I do a whole bunch of altars to put on the table, and I show up, and I made a bit of money. I mean, it wasn't like crazy money, but it was a lot of money for 2 days of work. I mean, granted, I did multiple days of painting just to prep for it, but still, I took a lot of commissions, and then I started to think there might be something to this. So every once in a while, I would see if there was a show nearby. And I wouldn't travel far, I would just travel to the nearby cities. Like if I had to drive 4 hours, 1 hour, that was okay. But I wasn't gonna start taking planes or anything. So I was still working full-time. I was also still working at the card shop, and every other second of free time that I had was spent painting on Magic cards. So at this point I did some math, and I thought if I went to at least one show a month, I could quit my job and just do this. And I really thought it was pretty insane, making a living off of painting Magic cards. But I said, what the hell? I can call myself a professional artist, and that was something. So I did it. I quit my job, I moved to Chicago, and I was going to shows, I don't know, at least twice a month. Sometimes 3 times a month, it depends. And living in Chicago was easy because I could get plane tickets to anywhere for pretty cheap, as long as I planned ahead. And the company that I worked with, Star City Games, they had, I want to say it was quarterly schedules. So I knew months in advance where I would be going. So I did that for about a year until they changed some of the rules about them during tournaments. That hurt quite a bit. I think the increased sales of like printed off sticker cards on eBay ruined us quite a bit. I mean, people still do this, but I have no idea what the community is like now, obviously. I don't know. But yeah, I just stopped doing it. I got a job again. And yeah, this is probably the first one I've done in 4 years, I think. So with that out of the way, I'll talk a little bit about the card itself. This is one of those things where when I played back in the day, this wasn't worth a ton. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks. And now it's shot up crazy. I mean, in comparison, I suppose, you know. But I thought it would be fun to just paint a really expensive card and maybe I can piss some people off. I always enjoy doing that. You get a commission from a guy who wants his entire set of Power 9 altered and you're like, okay. One of the things I miss, painting stupid expensive cards and watching people freak out about it. Anyway, so I was going for kind of like oil painting, impressionist type of style. And I think in the end it turned out the way I wanted it to. But halfway through, I really struggled through the ugly phase, which everybody knows that paintings go through an ugly phase. Unless it's watercolor, I guess. And then usually in my experience, pretty much every phase of the watercolor looks pretty good. You're doing it right. But yeah, I think after that first struggle, I did a little bit more research. I looked at more references, and I basically just reduced it down further and further and further because as I was painting it, I was getting more detailed and I was trying to find the tones and find all the shapes and the parts of the petals. And after doing the research, I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. If it's going to be impressionistic, then all you should see is brushstrokes. So that's what I brought it back to, just brushstrokes. And I think it turned out pretty good. So I feel like I managed to talk through most of this. Whatever I have right now, I'm just going to chop it together and see how it goes. Hopefully my voiceovers improve. Maybe I'll say less. Maybe not. Maybe you're just going to have to deal with it. Peace. Also, before I forget, if you enjoyed watching me ruin a magic card, hit that like button. And if you've ever had an altar done, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.